Hey, it's Braden here from the Texas Panhandle Craft Beer Fest, and with me is Grant from Revolver Brewing. And Grant, tell me a little bit about Revolver. I mean, what sets you guys apart?
Well, I guess I'll just toot my own horn for a second. Kind of starts
Go right
with me.
ahead.
I've been in the brewing business over 30 years. Started my brewing career at Pearl Brewing Company down in San Antonio back in 1985. I worked at Lone Star Brewing Company, and then I worked at Sam Adams and worked for them for almost 16 years. Came back, partnered up with a couple of guys here in Granbury, Texas, a son and father duo. It's Rhett and Ron Kiesler.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. Got along with those guys really from the get-go, and Rhett had a great idea with the name Revolver Brewing, and Ronnie, who had a previous career at Marathon Oil, he had retired down here to Granbury, and that's kind of how we ended up here.
So what's your role with the company?
I'm the founding brewmaster.
Okay.
I started the brewery with those two guys, came up with all the recipes, started up on the brew deck, and just watched this thing grow ever since.
So as the brewmaster, how much beer do you get to drink on a daily basis? How much do you get to sample?
Well, there's the get to, and then there's the actual sampling piece. Actually, I taste the beer almost every day. I taste the beer every day
Right.
at various stages, from off the packaging line when we're, what does it taste like in the bottle, the packaging tank. I was just tasting actually yesterday. We've got some of our anniversary beer coming up. It's called Mullet Cutter Double IPA. It's in the tank, aging out right now. So I was just tasting some of that yesterday.
So tell me about Blood and Honey. Explain a little bit about that, but tell me about the name as well.
Sure. So, Blood and Honey is really an amazing story. It's really sort of like serendipity, really. When we were building the brewery and getting started in February of 2012, there's a gentleman from down the road. They had a U-pick down there called Fall Creek Farms. So it's peaches and strawberries and that sort of thing. And he brought us a bucket of honey that he couldn't sell. It was solidified. And but just beautiful, great red color, great fruity character. I saw this honey, and he said, "Can you do anything with it?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And so when I was thinking of a beer to go with this honey, I was thinking, kind of classic is, wheat ales. And for whatever reason, that reddish color reminded me of blood oranges. And so I thought, I love blood oranges, and so I was like, put the blood oranges, put the honey together, wheat ale. Just kind of round it out and give it some complexity, put a couple of spices in there, and that's how Blood and Honey was born. I named it Blood and Honey, and a little story behind that was, when I was working over in our old place before this brewery was ever built, I put up on a project board, Blood and Honey, and Rhett came in, and he looked at that, he goes, "What's that Blood and Honey?" And I said, "Well, it's a beer I made, it's the beer I made from that guy's honey from down the road." And he goes, "That's a terrible name. No one's ever going to buy that beer." I was like, you never know,
Right.
It might catch people's attention, and it sure did.
That's very cool. Well, we appreciate you guys being a part of the Texas Panhandle Craft Beer Fest this year. And anything else you guys got in the works at Revolver?
Well, I'm going to just give you a little preview here. This is a beer. I'm going to hold it up. It's called Redshift. It's kind of our end of summer, early fall seasonal. It's a spiced red ale. It's brewed with, open it up here. It's brewed with cinnamon, ginger, white pepper.
Wow.
And then we dry hop it with roses, hibiscus. It's got a great sort of reddish color. Smells really great. It's brewed with mandarina hops. It's just a great amber ale. And like I said, sort of a lighter, maltier offering with a little bit of spicing in it for fall coming.
Very cool. I'm actually kind of jealous because I'm sitting here, I just ate, and I didn't have a refreshing beverage at my desk, so I'm a little jealous of you right now.
Sorry, we do everything we can to get it to you.
But that's great, because you guys are a part of this year's Texas Panhandle Craft Beer Festival. Grant, appreciate you joining us today, and thank you for what you do at Revolver and with Blood and Honey, and we appreciate you guys being part of the festival.
Glad to be there anytime.